All right, hello everybody. It's another episode of Broken Barrel Conversations. I'm Seiko.
I'm Josh.
That's Josh. And before we get started, we're on everything: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Broken Barrel Conversations. Check us out, please and thank you. And for this video, we're gonna talk about some interesting stuff. I like this topic because I could always go on for days about spiritualness and all this stuff and death. You talked about how you wanted to talk about what we think happens after death, our views on death, stuff like that.
I'm just curious. I'm sure people might be also curious. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. We heard what Christian thought, Cat Slash, what his ideas were. I'm just kind of trying to understand like your views. We know we've experienced a couple things. You're young. I'm a little older.
I am.
But we have come from, I guess, similar backgrounds. We're on kind of similar spiritual journey, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So to give context, me and Josh did grow up Christian. So we grew up believing that there's a heaven and a hell, and you gotta be a good Christian boy, girl, believe in God to get into heaven. And if you don't believe in that shit, no disrespect to that religion. If you don't believe in that, you're going to hell.
So mine was a little different.
Oh, really?
I got more indoctrinated than I think you did.
Oh shit. Talk about it.
So I didn't have the belief of like, oh, you have to be good or you won't get. It's not like the Santa, nothing like that. It was more like you choosing to give your life over to another person, like Jesus. You're choosing Jesus over your own life, and like you accept him in your heart. You are basically saved fully. No matter what you do, I could now murder everybody in the world. Saved technically in Jesus' eyes, according to the way the Christian book is set up.
I grew up the same way.
Yeah,
I think I just described it.
Yeah, described it weird. Yeah. But that was about it. But it was like more it was ingrained where I started going all the time. I don't know how often you went, but I was like, I wasn't when I was a child. Mine was more when I was about 12 is when it really started. Like I started going there more often. They kind of tricked you in me. No, I was forced to go because I just moved to a new school, and my mom knew one of the friends that had a kid, and he was close to my age. Like, oh, you should go to this thing. It's called youth group. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of those.
So that's how they trick kids. Hey, church is so much fun. That part is not regular church. When I was younger, no, I couldn't listen to that. My ADHD, there's no way you could hold my attention for that long in Sunday school, but I did like youth group. It was a good way to connect, so I will say that was kind of cool, getting to know new people, and they're nice, and you got free food, so that was a positive, especially being poor kids.
It's just a community of young kids, pretty much. If you take out the religion, you're just kids hanging out.
Yeah, no, and that's true. And then there were people there, I feel like, that genuinely did want to. I did get that from some of the adults. Like, they genuinely wanted to help. They wanted to just be helpful people, which I that's rare to find that, Mm-hmm. So that was a kind of a plus. Mm-hmm. But, then, of course, religion has its own views. Yeah. And I feel like the understanding of that, especially in today's world, I feel like a lot of people are, I don't know, I feel like a lot of eyes have been opened. Something happened in this world. I don't know if it was COVID, but I feel like
think the internet.
Is that it? It's something,
that's
man.
What changed my views, because I was Christian all the way up until, I would say, 6th grade. And I started getting internet around 5th grade. And then I started exploring it, watching different videos, going on the internet, looking at different pages, just seeing all these different opinions and shit. And I started seeing a lot of people kind of talking shit on religion. And it kind of like, I'm like, why though? And I kind of like went down this rabbit hole of people like talking about their own experiences growing up. And they grew up the same way as me, like, very religious, in whatever religion they were, whether it be Christian, Catholic, Buddhism, or whatever. And then a lot of people end up leaving their religion, so I'm like, that's a thing that people do. And then
like,
the internet opened my eyes to that shit, and I think it opens a lot of people's eyes, because now we have so many people giving their opinions and telling their life stories, and it shows you that everything that you're told might not be true.
No, I mean, that's I think there's a lot of truth in that. At least you got to kind of explore and discover that. That was I didn't really have the option as much when I was in 6th grade. Yeah. But it was.
Did you have internet? At that age.
I did not. I mean, we had a computer, but like my brother kind of took over.
Was internet invented at that
age? It was. Let's say I was in 6th grade. I think in 2000 when you were born, I believe. Yeah, I think that's when I was in 6th grade.
I was born.
Maybe it was like, I don't know. Maybe it was 99. I don't remember. But we had internet, but not what you think it was. Like,
dial up.
Yeah, I mean, I had dial-up. My mom's had dial-up to like 2010. Mm-hmm. So it's like dial-up. It was where she lived. You couldn't really get high speed. Even now, the high speed, your phone's still faster.
Yeah.
So it's still not good internet.
You got American Online, whatever that is.
No, it's
the CD thing.
I don't even fucking remember it. AOL is what
yeah.
She still has that as her
Online.
email. Yeah. Oh shit, you're right. I forgot that's what it stands for.
American Online.
No, that's it. Yeah. She has. She still has that as her email. So it's,
damn.
Yeah. No, it's fucking crazy. But that's when I would say indoctrinated. In 6th grade is when I started discovering it. So I didn't have it in my childhood at all.
6th grade, I left. In 6th grade, you got in.
6th grade, you left, and I got out like at 30.
Yeah.
So I was in there for a bit. But no, it's I am thankful for. I learned a lot of stuff, and it helped me develop a lot of skills. But I feel like with religion, it's really they want closed-minded people. They don't want you to have open mind.
Yeah, because at least with Christianity, it does seem like they want you to stay in that. They said don't venture into other religions, otherwise you're going to hell. So that makes it kind of like, they're keeping you in this mind state to not try to explore other things.
Well, you know what's crazy?
Yes.
So I don't know. You're just like, yes.
I want to hear.
So I know you've been probably hearing some stuff about like God, what is this dude's name? Brendan Fraser. He's getting now. He got an Oscar. He just won from that movie he's just in, The Well. Well, he was in this other movie. I thought I had like a time jump or something.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand because he was playing a Jewish character, and his classmates find out that he's Jewish and they hate him. They start treating him like shit. I'm like, as a kid, I didn't really think much about it because I remember I saw this. I'm like, this can't. Why is this a thing? I didn't know. I forgot that. Oh yeah. People didn't like Jewish people at all. And I remember when I was a kid, because how I grew up, that's my church experience. I was taught to hate Jewish people.
What?
I remember that. I remember when I found out there was a kid in my class. I was in elementary, and I found out he was Jewish, and I was like, oh, I can't be around you.
Oh, man.
I remember thinking that because
that's crazy.
I don't remember why I learned that, but it was something I guess I learned because Jewish people, I think my knowledge, I was like, Jewish people killed Jesus. Jewish people are bad.
Okay.
I think that's kind of how
I can see the logic.
I learned that as a child. But I didn't really, that didn't last very long. So obviously I was like, I just remember that my memory came up when I saw that trailer of me reacting to a kid because he said he was Jewish.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, that's kind of what I think Christianity, like it has that way of morphing a brain, especially young, for me anyway, young brains like that. And I feel like that was how the culture was. Obviously people hated Jews I have no idea why. It didn't make any sense.
To this day, man, Kanye West hates Jewish people.
I was just like, what? It really doesn't.
Yeah, but I know what you mean because I had the similar experience where.
Jewish people?
No. In my experience with religion, I was told not to be friends or get into relationships or marry anyone that's not Christian,
Yeah.
Because anyone that's not Christian is going to hell.
Unequally yoked or something like that.
Well, I was told that they're going to hell.
That was the reason. That's what the lesson I get that from.
Yeah. So then growing up, but the thing is though, I don't know why I'm like this. A lot of the stuff I was told as a kid, I never just believed it outright. I always questioned everything because I was like, I don't think this. Just when I was told that, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't think this is right. And I never did it.
No,
that type of stuff. And that happened to me all the time as a kid.
I mean, that's good. I think a lot of people, I assume, would question. I was like that too. I remember I had a youth leader. He was saying something like, if you smoke, you're going to hell. And I was like, my mom smokes. And he's like, well, she's going to hell. I'm like,
oh my God.
I was like, where's that in the Bible? Because it never says anything like that in the Bible.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of leaders in these religious places, they kind of take the Bible and the religion and put their own beliefs that they want people to believe onto, and then use the Bible as a tool to get you to believe shit. And like, hey, that's how cult stuff. Sorry to get on a tangent, but like cults, they do the same shit to an extreme level. They're like, hey, if you follow this religion, you're gonna go to heaven, right? But I'm the leader, okay? So you gotta listen to whatever I say. So come here and do stuff to me. Do me some favors, and you can get to heaven. Well,
you know what? How I stopped believing in hell and all that stuff, and what sort of made my religious views unwind.
You don't believe in hell?
I don't believe in hell at all. No.
Interesting.
So what happened is, no Jehovah's Witness don't believe in hell. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know. What?
They don't believe in hell.
Do they believe in heaven?
Yes. but their heavens like we inherit like a new earth. Like it's like
I heard
earth
of that.
reformed and like and everyone gets another chance.
Okay.
And comes back or something like that.
Okay.
Burping, excuse me. But
Your excuse.
thank you. But no, like in hell, there's different translations. There's because they believe they talk about this lake of fire, which was a real place. It was like called Gehenna or something like that.
Wait,
and
this is Jehovah's Witness?
Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
And also some parts of the Bible, it still says it because the word can be used. It didn't really start forming the word hell, this hell that he talks about until after Jesus' death. Nothing was really talked about. Like, so it's like it started forming this idea. And that's kind of where people have the argument. Is a lot of things get mistranslated, and I feel like that it's how many times things have been translated. It's hard to go back to the original Greek and.
Wait, what's this about the lake of fire?
The lake of fire, yeah. So it's like the lake of fire, that is what they call for hell. Like the lake, it's always a fiery hell, but they believed this was a real place that was always burning. They would burn bodies there, and that's what they believe the Bible was always referring to as this. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of debate back and forth. It wasn't talking about a idea of a place that's like different levels of hell and all that stuff. That's the myth.
So are they saying that's false? Because you said they don't believe in hell.
They don't. No, Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in that at all.
So they're saying
it's just talking about you can actually go there. It's a place in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. You can go there where this used to be the pit where they would burn everything. It was
okay, it's a real place.
It looked like a lake of fire. It was always on fire.
It's a real place.
Yeah, it's a real place in Jerusalem that existed, especially during that time of Jesus. It was a real place you'd go to, and it was he would speak in parables often, and that's where I was confused because Jesus would speak in parables, but they would say the Bible's literal. I'm like, how can it be literal if someone's also speaking a metaphor? It don't make any sense.
All right, not trying to get too tangent-y, but what were you talking about? Where you said, where you said there was a point where you stopped believing in hell. What happened?
It's so my wife, she actually has a master's degree in religious theology and all that stuff. She was trying to be a preacher.
Oh, really?
A female preacher. That's what she was wanting to, like, head of a church and all that. That was her path, and she's the one that helped me unlearn what I've learned. Like,
that's insane.
Well, it is. No, I agree.
That you have this person that spent so many years and so much time into learning this, and they're like, okay, everything I learned, don't believe it.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is a lot of people that end up going to priesthood, trying to do that they end up becoming like atheists. It happens often.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
There's a lot. There's a few YouTubers and TikTokers that have similar stories that they were going this whole way and had this direction, but as soon as they started going to school and class for it, they're like, what the fuck? And they leave the faith.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. And Ashley didn't leave the faith, but it's like stuff, the knowledge was there where she was like questioning, but you also were like, no, but you have this thing like, this is what I believe, but you still have this in the back of your mind that's always there. And then eventually it just started clicking like puzzle pieces, and she's like, you know what, no, these other things happen, in life, and it's like then all of a sudden you have these epiphany moments, and then she started talking to me about it. I didn't believe her, but I started really doing my own research, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh wow,
she's right.
That's interesting.
I was like, I could not, because I even have my struggle because I'm a literal thinker. I can't help that. I think so literally, and I thought it was crazy that I would believe in this Christian God, and I think literal. You can't literally prove anything in the Bible that's there. Not much of it's literally provable.
That is so interesting.
Even Jesus, he's most likely there was a man that did exist that you could believe is the Son of God or whatever, but there was not quite enough proof. But with all the stuff in history, I do believe he did exist. I do
believe that during those times there must have been really wise people that kind of led people to question shit or like believe in shit. Like Socrates, for example, he's a very philosopher, but if he could have went down the religious route and become a religious leader.
100%. That's how cults get started. Yeah. It's very easy, and that's what it helped open my eyes, and that's where I got on my own little discovery and my journey of trying to understand of what I do believe. Because I am still trying to understand that, and as I look at life as an ever-ending journey. You're just gonna keep learning and learning and learning.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me because when I first met you, I just assumed everything was figured out and you had everything. But it was interesting as I got to know you. I'm like, no, this guy's
I'm a fucking
just
starting.
Baby. He's pretty much just starting his journey.
Yeah.
But it's also like kind of inspiring to see that a person kind of go through the same thing I went through, where like you grew up in this mindset and this religion.
It's like I'm learning shit backwards. It feels like.
But everybody has their own path, their own marathon. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people.
You can't. You can't.
Because everybody got a different start, you know. My start was in Seattle,
Yeah.
so that what led me to do all that, and also the time period I grew up in with the internet.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a big difference. That's why I think that alone, that saved so much.
It did, man. I'm telling you,
it really did.
But yeah, sorry.
No,
Could you keep going? So you and Ashley, she studied a bunch of. She went to school to study Christianity.
Yeah, just like she wanted you have to go through all this stuff to get you she didn't want to get her doctorate or anything like that, but she got her master's in it, and that's like basically on steps. Eventually, you might have to get your PhD and all that stuff.
Okay, so she went to school to study Christianity, become a preacher, and all this.
Not
and
originally, but yeah, just slowly morphed into that.
Got it. And as she did her studies, it kind of like opened her eyes that it might not be what she thought it was, and it led her to doubt it.
Sort of like stuff like that. Sort of like it's like there's I guess a lot of stuff you learn in there.
Yeah.
And how they get their information. It's like what they're not questioning things known people like no wait a second, this doesn't logically make sense. Like
Got it.
There's like a thing in your brain that's like ding 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 ding, like it's something something always happens. It's kind of crazy. So many people leave the faith once it gets to that level.
That's crazy.
So it's like I feel like you're just because you're getting. I would look at also like learning like a plateau.
Yeah.
Like you start eventually you're learning so much, you're crossing over to your brain's just you're able to understand stuff at a different level. And I feel like once you're at that point, you start seeing stuff. You're like, wait a second.
Okay.
And I feel like that's just how stuff happens in knowledge, but easily it fades. I feel like anything.
No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So after she learned all that stuff and started doubting it, she also told you about it.
Well,
and
it was years later.
Like,
again, she had her own journey, and it was probably she graduated college, and then she was still doing this stuff for 5+ years after that.
Okay.
And then and we didn't meet for another 5 years. So it's
interesting.
So yeah. And
so once you guys met, was she already out of the religion?
No, we were still both
oh, you both were. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay,
we both were at the same time. We're still pursuing, trying to understand, but we also. We wanted something different. Like there was something that was going on. We were still trying to go to church and stuff.
Okay.
And
so could you talk about at what point did you guys decide to leave it, and why?
So COVID was a big part.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah, no, it was recent. Yeah, I literally.
That's what blows my mind more. The fact that all this was pretty recent.
Dude, so much of my life has changed.
It's like if I just met you a year earlier, you would have been a different person.
Dude, I just started smoking weed like.
That's what I'm saying, man. But yeah, could you get into that part where you guys left? What happened? Why and when?
So when COVID started happening, obviously people weren't going out as much, and I had my own. I wasn't always going to church anyway, so like I had my own. With religion, I had my own kind of journey that I was already going through, and so did she. So it's like we both kind of had this give up of the faith, come back to the faith, type thing already.
Sounds
happened.
like a toxic relationship.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Up, getting back together.
Yeah, it's like my toxic relationship with Jesus. Let's talk about it. No, it's but no, it's like so we definitely had like this little roller coaster with it. There's some highs because I've experienced some things I cannot explain, and we can get on that at a different podcast.
Yes.
But I have experienced things, and same thing with Ashley. We have both experienced things that only that makes sense. It had to be a God. I don't know how to explain it. So dealing with that, then also having those other different discoveries. It's like during COVID, I think it's just having that time to yourself to really explore your own. And after all, obviously going through your own little journey and you're blooming your own way. Like someone had a thing about like you become like a lily pad. I don't know where I was hearing that reference. Like you go through this little journey, and it's like you're like in the mud and the muck, but you can get through it. You still get through, and you get to be this little lily pad, where you're still this like beautiful flower, and like and it's still like this helpful thing for whatever. It was a really cool metaphor. Which
I like how you always bring up these metaphors, but you like butcher them.
I butcher them like crazy. Yeah,
you gotta write it down, man.
Like I gotta write it down, and like that could have even been a dream. I don't even fucking know. I probably dreamed that last night. I don't fucking know.
It's like how I told you about the bamboo shoot thing, and you bring it up all the time, but like every time you bring it up, I'm like, this guy's not saying it right. And even I know what it is, but I'm still confused by your explanation.
Dude, it's like I realized it's I need to learn how to write all my thoughts down to help me always learn how to control them.
Yeah,
but it's my ADHD where I'll take like it's like a kid when you run into a little child. He's trying to tell you a story. He just gives you like a handful at the beginning. A little bit of the middle and all the end.
That's exactly what you do.
You're missing everything, man.
That's exactly what you do. You start off strong with this metaphor. I'm ready to hear it, and then there's nothing else. That's it.
Nothing. I was like, wait, it left my brain.
But sorry.
But no. So basically, we're on this little journey and of just understanding things. So it's like things in life had to happen. Like we met at the right time. It's weird. If you're really looking at things as it looks up, things had to happen for us to go through this journey. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had that eye-opening moments.
I believe everything happens for a reason.
100%. You're right. And it's like these little things that we're going through. What?
At the right time.
At the right time. No, that's it. It's like, again, I'll bring up that damn thing in the book where it says like a single stone and a perfect fucking throw. Sometimes shit just, it links up like that. Yes. And it's weird, man.
Yes.
And it's, if you're paying attention, I feel like you can change things.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's like, it's hard paying attention that when they happen. But anyway, all these different things, these journeys, I feel like that's important. You have to kind of go through this grossness for a bit with whatever. And I feel like it's like you have to live through these moments, and then once you realize it, that's where you start having your own eye-opening moments. You're being more open-minded.
And what was your eye-opening moment?
So I think having the more freedom to myself. That's what a lot of us. Yeah, I think because COVID helped that. Because when you lose your job and you're just like, what do I do? Like, wait, and then you're just like, we were in a more fortunate place where we actually there was property we could stay in that was to ourselves, and we could live in it, and we didn't have to pay anything. So we were fortunate where we didn't really fully have to work, and we were getting income coming in, and I was allowed to just be creative all day. So that was a fortunate moment. I actually got to be like that,
because now you don't have to spend so much of your mind worrying about money, worrying about paying bills. Now you can just think.
Yeah. That's it, and I was able to just sit, because look at our world. We're taught to be distracted. We're like, I feel like we're just ants. We grow up in there, and we're just in there. We get sent out there to work, and that's it. We don't have any time for ourselves. And I look at all the time I used to be creative. I didn't have time with human experience. I spent so much time being creative and working. I didn't talk to any other humans for a long time, and that's probably made me a little weird and crazy. Which I'm like, oh fuck it, I'm already weird and I'm already crazy. Can't do anything about it now, but I feel like
don't give up.
Yeah, no, tell me to sit. I feel like I was pretty
don't
close
ever
to
give up.
These motherfuckers.
Don't ever give up, no matter what. I learned that from Fire Punch. Don't ever give up.
Don't, man. You have to always constant, always conscious.
Fire Punch is a very tragic manga if anybody wants to read it. But
yeah. No, he talks about it. Like it's rough though.
The guy's on fire, man, but he never gives up. Come on.
Yeah, and I think that's how it is, man. You got to keep going like
that's
that.
A metaphor.
Step forward. Yeah. That is 100%. But I think just having that.
Can we get to the? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go. Sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm just trying to get to the point where, what was the breaking point?
The breaking point was just going, like, having that time to myself, like being able to just really just sit with myself, truly sit. Like, I realize how rare that is, to have that alone time where you don't have to worry about work for like a while. That's such a rare thing we don't have, and it makes me kind of sad. But that helped me have an opening, not having to go. Also, because no one was doing anything, we didn't have no obligations to anybody. So that's also the difference. No obligations to anybody because of COVID. Didn't want to get anybody sick, so it really forced everyone, especially me, to isolate myself. And I am an extrovert, at my heart. So it's like, even though I would do stuff, I would volunteer for stuff I wouldn't want to. And that's where I had to learn that lesson. But being alone, that was the biggest breakthrough. And I feel like a lot of people, I'm not the alone in that, had that kind of breakthrough.
No, I know what you mean.
If they use that time wisely.
I know what you mean. Because I had my own moment of that, not during COVID, but after I graduated, there was like a year and a half where like I didn't really talk to much people. And all I had was my thoughts. I would just work and then go home and I just reflect on shit, and that what changed me as a person. But yeah,
no, I think
I know what you mean exactly.
I think that's important. I know I learned those lessons, but I didn't realize how often I should be having more time to myself like that. That helped me get on that journey, and I'm still on this journey. I'm still learning. I'm still experimenting.
You had alone time, and then what came into your mind to like doubt religion?
Well,
did you see something, or you just were thinking?
No, because I was still trying, and I was still trying to understand what I wanted out of life, and it's. Like I have my own experiences that I would question and try to understand. And then when I'd ask questions, my wife is a very good person. Like, hey, I have a question. She'll give me an honest answer. And I realized she was slipping. And I was like, hey, why am I pushing towards this? And she's not anymore. I was confused.
Pushing towards,
like, still the faith, still pursuing it and stuff like that. And still, I was writing Christian songs and shit. Like I was legit.
Shit.
Yeah, like I was in there. I have several of them I've written. No one's ever heard them, but it's like I don't do with them. But it's like now it don't matter.
Yeah.
But it's like I would have these things, and
so in this moment you were more religious than her.
Than she was, yes.
Okay.
And I was trying to understand it, and she started going on her own journey. She started like looking into witchcraft, all this different thing, and she was really trying to understand who she is, and she's going on this big journey.
Let me ask you this though: how does it feel at that time? Were you two married, or you guys were?
Yeah, we're already married.
Okay, so at that time, your wife, your soulmate, your partner, your significant other doesn't believe in the religion, or she's doubting this religion that you believed in for so long. How does that make you feel?
So,
like, did it make you feel like, what is wrong with this person, or did it make you feel like,
no,
is there something?
So and it all boils down to somebody being also, don't be too rigid. Yeah. Like, I would have feelings that might crop up. I'm like, I don't understand, but I'm like, I would, before they get too up there, I'm like, well, let's see why. Because I know her. That's like, I know my wife. So it's like, that's the difference. I know them. So obviously, if they're doing this, there's something that has happened. So I would, and so
it's like you love and respect this person.
No.
That you know that if they're doubting it, it's got to mean something.
It's something.
Okay, if you didn't respect them, you would think that, like, what does this person know?
Yeah.
You know?
And I didn't react at all. Like, when she's doing her own thing, I was like, hey, that's her own journey. I'm still gonna do my own thing, and that's it. We did.
That's
so
respect,
I just like, and I just kept doing it. But then when I would like bring up, hey, let's go do this, she's like, I'm not really feeling that. I'm like, okay. And then
yeah.
I wasn't, like I said, us being all forced to be home. We didn't. There was no like forced obligation to go out, like this guilt trip that I think the church kind of throws on you. Everything's on fire. No, but this guilt trip that I feel like religion has on people, where like, oh, we have to go because they feel like they need to, because otherwise you feel like you sinned if you didn't. That kind of stigma, I think, sticks around. But COVID really made a lot of people forced to stay home, and all you had the option was just watching on the TV, and that was, we're like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And then started doing it for myself, and then that's what helped both of them. That's for both of us. That's what helped us kind of experience our own little journey. And then I was respecting hers, she respected mine, and then when I started really talking, we started really understanding, and I was talking to her with an open mind to understand. And then sitting with the knowledge, she said, even though it made me mad, I'm like,
what'd she say?
Like something about hell. Like, hell doesn't even exist. She was explaining, and I was like, I've heard that before. And like,
but where's that come from?
So it talks about, like I told you, where it refers to the lake of Gehenna.
What's it?
Oh, the Bible.
The Bible.
A lot of the religious texts, they would often refer to. I think it's like the lake of. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Gehenna, something like that. But it's like this. It just talks about mostly this lake that's always on fire. It's just it looked like a lake, but it's just a place that's out in the by the city. It's just always on fire. It's a huge area.
Oh, so she's saying that when the Bible refers to this hell,
yeah,
it's not literally hell. It's just describing that this real life place that's on fire.
Yeah,
and then people kind of twist it into this place that you go to.
That's what a lot of people
I get
believe.
it.
And that's where that's what she's come to believe. And
she looked at it logically.
Yeah.
Like, no, this hell isn't real. They're just talking about this place in other side of the world,
because people tend to forget, like, a lot of the Bible is people's experience.
Yeah.
It's written, it's not like, oh, it's all these different books. No, it's a library of all these different people's experiences, and some stuff that's like, gets, if you've ever been in a room where, I don't know if you did this as a kid, where you tell a rumor, someone says something and it goes in a circle and it comes back,
like telephone.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Like, you
and it's so different, and it's,
I have red pants.
Yeah.
This person says, I have red sand.
Yeah.
And
it goes around.
Yeah.
That's how, if you look at the Bible, a lot of the stories were passed down like that,
agree.
and how much could have been changed. That's why, like, we don't know. But the newer stuff in the New Testament, that's the stuff where the Christians use, because that stuff you can kind of back up. There's more stuff in history. It's not that old, there's more ways to follow it. But there's still a lot of translations have happened on the way, and that's where, if you really look at it, it's like a lot of the stuff that was written, it's for that time. A lot of the times, like even in Revelations, a lot of those people that write, they had to write in code. So it might look like it's saying something else, but it's like, if you really look at it, they would be writing in code, because the Romans would be reading all that stuff before they give it away. So if they don't understand it, then it doesn't matter.
So Ashley was your wife was explaining to you that if you look at it logically, these are just stories that are being passed on between generations, people to people. In
which I understood that, yeah.
And when that happens, that people will change shit, and it might not only change shit purposely, but people might just say the wrong shit because it's being passed by so many people. So when she explained that to you, that was what made you question.
Well, not like that, no, because I've always had that understanding of the possibility.
Yeah.
Just when she was explaining the stuff about the hell, and it really explained it in detail, she did it a lot better.
Okay.
And I started doing my own research on it, because I'm like, I'll happy to hear people if I'm really trying to listen and take, if I call it, when I gray myself out, it's like the gray zone. I have to like center myself, and then I'm like, okay, I can listen. I'll you say whatever you want so I can hear it, and I'm not going to get angry. I'm like, okay, I'll hear them, because if they really believe in it, then I'm going to do my own research and understand. And then when I started doing that, I couldn't discount different things he was saying. I was like, okay. Then I'm like, if this is true, let me look at everything else with this evidence. And then slowly just things started coming off. I still don't know fully what I believe on it, because I've experienced things I cannot explain, and that's where I struggle. So
let's get into that then.
Right.
So you said that's your journey with religion, and that makes a lot of sense. You know, you start looking at it logically and analyzing it, and not just believing for what it is. Made you question a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
And also your wife as well. So now that you don't really believe in that, heaven, hell, and all this stuff, what do you think death is? And then
and that's where
what are your views?
I still feel like it's the same. I still have the same understanding like I did with my Christian understanding. It's not really what I thought of, like, oh, there's, all these people and loved ones, and it's like, I don't really think of it like that. I just want, like, it's just, you're in internal peace. I feel like that's what happens. That's journey,
the heaven.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what heaven is. My new understanding of what hell is we're on it. This is hell. This is why we never learn a lesson.
I kind of believe that too.
Because we never learn. We literally repeat the same shit. Because, like, there's things I read in stories of how crazy people do. That I've read stories about that shit, about these fucking Roman emperors of crazy ones. I'm like, if this dude was in power, he would have been the same motherfucking person.
Yeah.
He just happened to be a homeless person instead, or whatever it was. But you're the same. It's the same crazy mentality. He wasn't homeless, but he was just some crazy person that was.
But you're saying
was
that
a store owner.
These people right here, if they were in power, they would do all
that
shit.
No, it was a store owner that was doing something crazy.
Okay.
And it was just reminding me of this Roman emperor that was doing equally crazy stuff. Like, he was like forcing people to stay in. They couldn't leave. They couldn't go to the restroom. It was like this craziness. And there was a Roman emperor that did the same thing. And I was like, they're the same people, like that crazy, that get that whatever it is where you don't let people be people. And it's like, I feel like we just keep repeating the same motherfucking shit over and over and over.
I completely agree, because I told Josh that I think it's just kind of like take it with a grain of salt, but I kind of like to play with the idea that what we're on right now, Earth, is hell. Because, like you said, it seems like there's a lot of patterns, repeating cycles. Shit keeps happening. People don't learn a lesson, right? Like the cycle of wars, how wars keep happening, and it causes hate against this group.
Like, even
and now later on, this group hates you, and they make another war, and back and forth. Cycle of hate. People hate a certain race, and then now this race hates that race back, and it's just back and forth. So I agree with you. This Earth does seem like it's hell, because we're all just doing the same shit, and it seems like there's so many people that are like trying to pull you down and keep you in a bad place, and we like to think that you just got to keep doing good, don't give up, and you'll go to the next place or whatever it is, which I agree.
No, I just feel like, because if we all helped each other, we wouldn't have to do anything. I really feel like if we all just were helping each other in this world, we would just be able to do whatever, chill and relax and enjoy life. But it's like, we all have this selfish mentality where we just say it's all about me, I. I don't understand.
Isn't that one of the 7 deadly sins, right? And greed.
Yeah, agreed. And look at we. That's it. We just we're greedy about everything. We just want more.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a quote in this one movie. It's like, I just want what all men want. Just want more. From Troy.
What does that mean?
He just keeps wanting more. You're never gonna, like, that whole that the Christianity people were talking about, like, you always have. All
right. I'm sorry, my MacBook died in the middle of us recording, so we're gonna wrap it up real quick with this final question. Make sure the mic's pointing towards you too. Is all good?
Face.
Okay, cool. I want to say we talked a lot about death, talked a lot about religion, talked a lot about your journey with religion.
You did.
Talking about heaven, what we think about heaven, what we think about hell, what we think about this earth and shit. So after talking about all that and how you went through a lot of change in your beliefs and all this, and death and all this, I gotta ask, man, like, what do you think about death? Not what do you think happens, but how do you feel about it? Do you accept it? Are you scared of it? What do you think about death when it's your time to go?
So, I know we talked about death a few times on here. I've had my own little crazy stories about just my
man
own
of
incidents,
surviving.
I feel like, I have, like, I've tested the waters a bit in my own childhood, so I'm not as scared of it as I should. But with, like, religious, like, once I became, like, a Christian when I was younger, I never feared death after that. I still have that same mentality. I don't fear it at all.
So before you became a Christian,
I don't know if I really ever thought about it. Like, I know I almost died a few times when I was younger. I just don't. I was like, oh, that was about it. Like, wow, you know, it's like, yeah.
All right, time to eat my PB&J.
No, because when I was dangling on the fucking roller coaster, I don't remember like going. It must be a trauma because obviously I went to sleep. I don't remember anything else after that.
Yeah, maybe you've been through so much shit that like now you just move on. It's another day in my life.
Yeah, I just think it was like, just keep going because I'm like, I don't know how anyway, that's stuff I think about. But so I don't know back when I was younger if I really was ever scared. But once I started having my own understanding of afterlife, I don't know if I really ever thought about it much. So when I got saved, quote unquote saved when I was younger at 11, and after that I knew I was okay. I understood, like, even on a spiritual level, I was like, I prayed every day. Like I was manifesting shit in my own mind and shit would happen. So I was like, I would be thinking about like that. So I just like, I knew I was gonna be okay as long as like, I just thought, I was like, as long as you keep you just being a good person, I feel like life's gonna take care of you. That's my own understanding. So I feel like even after death, life's gonna take care of you. It's like, this is a journey. I've always felt like that.
Okay, so when you were a kid, you were like, death is whatever, like I'll move on.
I don't know if I ever thought about it.
And then after you became a Christian, you just became okay because you know there's heaven, hell, whatever like that.
Yeah, I guess it's like that. Yeah.
But then now you're not a Christian.
Yeah. And now my understanding is
so now what is your understanding?
So my understanding now, because again, like I feel like this is hell, and I feel like once we escape this, because this is it's like important to break these off these little, they call it, like Christians would use chains, breaking off the chains. Same thing, same metaphor. Break off these things that hold us here, because we're not meant to be here. You're breaking off all these motherfucking things. You're starting over, becoming like more open-mindedness, and having that mindset where you're escaping these patterns of the world that likes to pull you in, this gravity. You're kind of moving at your own pace. That's where I feel like you can escape, and that's your journey is now continuing on, because you're a force that's, I guess, like to be reckoned with. You have your own gravity now, and that's when once you start having that mindset, you escape. You start thinking for yourself. Once you start having that freedom, that's why I feel like the journey just begins. I feel like we're now starting it. Whatever it's gonna be, I feel like it's a start of something even fucking better.
I love that. That's a great way to end this off. Just basically saying that life and death might not be what it seems. There's definitely something more is what I'm getting from you, and that we don't. It's like, I don't know, a huge, much bigger scale that we don't know about, which I agree with. I think there's something that incomprehensible to the human mind.
We can't understand it. It will break us. Our mind's not capable of it.
We're not gonna understand it until we're free from this plane of existence. I feel
like we're supposed to learn lessons.
I think so.
And you gain a lot of knowledge, because even when I remember just the things I've done, like I feel like I connected with shit. It's like puzzle pieces connect. And I'm like, oh, I feel like I leveled up in life. Whatever happened, I feel like that's happening, and I feel like all of this is supposed to be a part of this journey, because something else is even better.
Maybe it's like when you watch. It's like when you watch a movie or you watch like a TV show with like 4 seasons, right? Yeah. And you get to the last part of the first season. No. It's like, let's say there's a TV show, 5 seasons, and you watch the first 2 seasons, right? And then you get to the last episode of season 2, and then they reveal to you that all this was just a prologue, and there's so much more going on. I think that's what fucking life is. We're going through 100 years of human existence, and then we die, and we're like, okay, this is just a prologue. You're going to real shit now,
Yeah, it's like, this is like the credits of the Star Wars. It took that long. How fucking long it sometimes is. God damn. Then we finally get to the cool shit.
Exactly.
Get to find my fucking Yoda.
Like some Attack on Titan type stuff.
Yeah.
We realize, oh, this is all just a prologue leading to the real shit.
Yeah.
I think that's what life is.
But no, I'm not scared. I'm excited for my death.
Me too, man. I can't wait to die. Just kidding.
I can't wait to die. Who wants to come? No.
Yeah,
but for real,
don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No, but for real, I am excited, because I really feel like it's just the beginning of the journey. So I look at life now. I'm just trying to enjoy every day. Like, make it not really worth it, like worthwhile, but just enjoy it. Like, when I'm with, like, maybe I'll spend like an hour playing with my cats, 2 hours just dangling shit and running around. Just enjoy life. Look at things. I have a new perspective on things, and I try to make each day count. If that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a quote that says, if you're depressed, you're thinking about the past. If you're anxious, you're thinking about the future. If you're at peace, you're living in the moment. I think we all gotta take that. I'm at peace. We all gotta take that into consideration. Just live day by day, Like, don't think too much. It is what it is. But anyway, thanks for watching. Broken Bread Conversations, everything. TikTok, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm Seiko.
I'm Josh.
What's your Instagram?
It's at Severn Photography.
There you go.
SEVEREN.
There you go. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.